It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Boy, what a season so far. And I'll tell you, it's only getting started. Ernie Johnson alongside Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny.
It's game time in Oakland, and let's go straight over. Well, DA, thank you. And by the way, you're in the Hall of Fame. Bill, since they drafted Steph Curry, the Warriors' fortunes have really changed. Would you call him the most important pick in the history of that franchise?
I would veer it a different way. I think it's one of the most important missed picks
of other teams
in the history of the NBA, because for two reasons. One, because the Timberwolves had the two picks right before and passed them both times.
2 guards, right?
And took 2 point guards, neither of whom was named Stephen Curry. So that was amazing. The pick after him was the New York Knicks, and if he had gone there, you could make a case that, you know, he saves the Knicks. Or you could make the case that maybe he gets hurt wherever he goes. This is somebody that had really, really bad ankle injuries and was lucky enough to be in an organization in Silicon Valley where he got the right kind of treatment and thought about these new wave ways to treat his ankles. He relearned how he ran.
Core was strengthened.
He strengthened his core and basically took pressure off his ankles, where if he'd come up in the 1980s, maybe he plays 5 years and he's out of the league. And my point is, if he goes to the Timberwolves or goes to the Knicks, he probably gets hurt, and we probably know Stephen Curry is the guy who got hot on Davidson for 2 years.
And a bust in the NBA, right?
Yeah, or not a bust, or like a what-if guy. Like, oh, man, it's too bad that guy got hurt. And instead he goes to the Warriors. So,
well said.
Really a great what-if pick. He has so many bad what-ifs, and this was the perfect what-if.
And a look at the starters for San Antonio. We've got DeRozan, Murray out there with AI. Then there's LaMarcus Aldridge, and it's Medu in at the power forwards position. Now, here's AI. Really played well against Memphis in his last outing. Passes to Medu. 5 on the clock. The Spurs need to get a shot off here. And the shot goes down. Medu's got his first points of the night.
Boy, 4 for 4 to get things started. Must have been a good shoot-around this morning.
Bill, we know about the love affair you have with the NBA, and you've written about it for so long. Started with the $4 ticket in Boston with your dad.
Yeah, my dad bought season tickets for the 1973-74 Boston Celtics, and it was only one ticket. And I think it was $4 a game, probably like $160 total. And he used to carry me in mainly because they didn't want to pay for a babysitter. So I started going to games that year, probably sleeping through a lot of them, and they won the title.
How old were you in 72?
So I was 4.
4 years ago.
I'm not going to lie, I don't remember anything from that season. The first season I remember is the year later when they lost before the finals to Washington. And then the year later, they won the famous finals against Phoenix, the triple overtime game. I was there.
Was Cowens on that team?
Cowens, Havlicek,
Yep.
JoJo White.
Yep.
And I was at the triple overtime game in the 76 finals. Was probably the most famous NBA game ever. The kids out there now would nominate like Game 7, 2016 or something. But triple overtime game was the most famous game ever. And I slept through the entire second half and the first overtime.
Oh, no.
But then woke up because everybody was standing the whole second overtime, so I had to get up.
Now, here's AI. He's got 8. Here's Durant. No good off the front iron. San Antonio leading by 8. Bill, Commissioner Adam Silver believes the 2K Esports League will have the staying power of the NBA, the WNBA, the G League. A pretty powerful comment to make.
And I hope he's right, because I want to be the lead color guy. I want us to be the team. Why can't it be us, Kevin Harlan?
Are you kidding me?
Let's do that. Cut me the check.
Sign
As Rasheed
me
Wallace
up.
would say, CTC, cut the check.
Bill Simmons is here.
I'm ready.
And the Warriors decide to take their first time out here.
Yeah, he's got to make some adjustments here. Just too easy to score in the lane against them right now.
But, Greg, no resistance, right? They're allowing them to get any kind of shot they want close. That simply can't happen.
So San Antonio goes with a fresh 5 on the floor. Second quarter of action, about a minute and a half played. AI kicks to Aldridge. Pass to Medu. AI outside. Inside. And Aldridge gets it to go on the assist by AI. Aldridge has got his first points in this one.
You don't pass for the sake of passing. You wait until the defense commits. And AI doing that, finding the man breaking open.
On the floor for San Antonio, we've got Medu. He's out there with DeRozan. Aldridge out there with AI. And it's Forbes in at the 2. And we've got an update here, so let's catch up with David Aldridge.
Hi, Kevin. Well, AI in their last time out against the Grizzlies was terrific. He ended up with 22 points and was very efficient on offense. He picked his spots and when to keep the ball moving or to shoot. A very solid stat line for him in what was a terrific outing. And you know he wants to keep the momentum going, Kevin.
Okay, David, no doubt he'll have the defense focused on him here after that stunning game last time out.
You better believe it. He'll be looking at double teams, guys up in his jersey all game long.
I think that's the way this guy likes it. He wants a challenge. It makes him more focused, more determined to show what a force he can be.
Curry's shot is off.
And with the success they've had rebounding the basketball, they're right where you'd expect them to be, firmly in the driver's seat.
AI with the bucket. AI's got 14 points for the game.
I am simply blown away by his accuracy. He has made every shot, and what's most important, his team is winning.
Timeout called the Warriors, coming off that loss against the Timberwolves.
And that can happen on the road. You can get a little bit tight, and often it really shows itself at the free throw line.
It certainly appeared that they let the crowd get to them a little bit. Looked like they were rushing their foul shots, and that can't happen. You've got to lock in.
Murray's checked in for Bryn Forbes. Now here's Curry. He's guarded by AI. Evans feeling it out a bit. Down to 5 on the shot clock. They need this. And he overshot that one, missing.
And they've just tried everything to stem the tide here, but nothing seems to work.
Well, Greg, I think this other team is just in a zone right now. They're clicking on the offensive end, and the defense starting to look frustrated.
Well, we want to thank the sports guy for being here. Enlightening as always. Bill, what a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I hope my son was impressed. Thank you, Kevin.
I'm sure he was. Door is always a spirited discussion when Bill's involved. Not afraid to share his personal views.
Yes, Kevin, he has broken the internet once or twice. This guy is no stranger to controversy. But I will say this, he is passionate about the NBA.
Here's Curry, following the score by DeMar DeRozan. AI with the stuff.
And they're just dominating on both ends. And it's reflected now in the score.
Oh, absolutely, Greg. They're absolutely rolling in sync totally on both the offensive and defensive ends.
And the Warriors with possession here, following the bucket by the Spurs.
They have been board dominant in this game. That's definitely been a factor in crafting this huge lead.
And AI with the stuff.
Keeping the pressure on and starting to pad this lead around the halfway point.
Yeah, seems like they're starting to pull away a bit right now. They just look a little faster and a little hungrier than the opposition right now.
Timeout called the Warriors.
Yeah, it looked like they tried to shoot their way out of the slump, and that didn't work. They got to go back and regroup.
Yeah, maybe a new approach because what they're...
And so it's San Antonio, riding high with a 23-point lead heading into the break. Thank you, David. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the second half. And with the second half upon us, we'll find out if this game becomes the route that it's threatening to be. You look at AI, in this game, he has been everywhere.
Well, they've done a good job of letting the game come to them, and really few forced shots here so far.
I think, Greg, we're seeing a couple things. Terrific play calling, unselfish nature, and quality shooting. That makes for good offense.
Third quarter action getting rolling right now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's who's on the floor. And Golden State looking at who they've got. The talented forward pair of Durant and Green at the 3 and the 4. Evans out there with Steph Curry. And it's Jones in at center, locking down the middle.
You know, what you love about Kevin Durant is he has established himself as a top 2 player in the NBA. But the reality is he's never forgotten where he's come from. His charity work, his commitment to the communities and to the places that have shaped him, it's really kind of cool, Kevin.
And AI with the stuff.
And so far, they have been in complete control of this one. Just a well-rounded effort on the road.
Really just sheer dominance, going into enemy territory and flat out taking over this one.
Jones kicks to Curry. Drills the three-pointer. Curry's got 5. And in 2013, there was a series of commercials calling Durant the nicest guy in the NBA.
Well, let's remember, Kevin, at that time he was a beloved figure in Oklahoma City. He remains tight with a number of staff members there just because of the kind of person and the kind of professional he was. What you love about Kevin Durant is he's a top 2 player in the NBA. But in terms of his charity work, he is right there as well.
And Kevin Durant, the ultimate get-out-of-jail card for your offense. With his height and shooting touch, get him the ball with the clock running down, and he can make something out of nothing.
What you love about Kevin Durant is he's an MVP-level candidate every year, and yet there's a hunger and a thirst to get better at basketball. This is so fun to watch.
And that one's good. AI.
And some guys just have a nose for scoring, and this one couldn't have been any easier.
Well, really good awareness by the scorer. You're seeing an opening in the defense and exploiting it beautifully.
Durant against DeRozan. And no good, trying to use the glass. You know, Greg, Kevin Durant could fit in any offense, but in your eyes, how good of a fit has he been in this Warriors attack?
Really like the missing puzzle piece. You know, I mean, his shot comes so much easier with the spacing he's afforded. At the same time, he's the fail-safe. When things break down, he can get his shot off against anyone. And the next one puts him in the bonus.
Andre Iguodala. He's checked in for the Warriors. And San Antonio also making a switch. Forbes checked in. It's Durant on the wing. DeRozan defending. And they call the foul, so he's got the and one chance here to make it a three-point play.
How about the body control Kevin Durant has? My goodness gracious, takes the punishment and makes the shot anyway.
Pirtle, he's checked in for San Antonio. On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, Draymond Green is a former Defensive Player of the Year, and he remembers his motivation. They said I fell in the draft because what position would I guard? I'll never forget that. I'm comfortable guarding any position. When I'm playing against big guys, I battle even harder. You have to prove a point. I won't be a pushover. Kevin?
Yeah, he never backs down. Thanks, David. Some changes for Golden State. Looney comes in for Jones. And Quinn Cook subbed in for Durant. Pass to Cook. Back to Curry. Outside, Green. Here's Looney. Nothing yet on the scoreboard for him. Golden State needs to get off a shot. And it's Cook missing. And so it's DeRozan. He'll bring it up for San Antonio. AI outside to the inside. And Pirtle gets it to go on the assist by AI. AI's got assist number 8 now on the night. Now a timeout called by Golden State. More and more we're hearing the term positionless basketball, Doris, but it's not an entirely new concept. I remember Jerry West, for example, talking about it a couple decades ago.
Well, I think Jerry West talking about it is about there are certain guys.
The Warriors have gone 3 of 4 on field goal attempts since getting things started here in the fourth. On the court right now for the Spurs, they've got AI. Aldridge out there with Medu. Then there's Murray. And it's DeRozan in at the 3, the small forward. Spurs leading by 22. No good. Good work defensively by Jones. Curry way outside, and again, no good by Golden State.
I'll tell you, he hasn't been able to find the mark all night. It's a big reason they're staring at this deficit.
And that one's good by Aldridge.
His mid-range game is what sets Aldridge apart from the other bigs in our league. He's about as accurate a shooter as you'll find among players with his size.
The shot's good. 12 points for Steph Curry.
After an ice-cold start to this game, he is pouring it on here in the second half.
It's AI on the wing, guarded by Curry. A nice shot by Medu.
That's how it's done, gentlemen. You don't pass to a player, you pass to a spot. Let your teammate run into it.
Curry passes to Durant. Aldridge against Jones. Curry looking it over to the middle, and it's thrown down hard with both hands.
Kev, there's so much to Steph Curry's greatness. He runs the pick and roll to perfection.
AI passes to Medu. Spurs working the ball around now. Here's AI. He gets that one. AI's got 24.
Really like that work there in the paint. He has really established a low post presence.
And there's the foul. It'll go on AI. That's his third foul of the game. Look at the state of the game. International leagues getting better and better, Doris. There's no doubt about it. We see it at Olympic times and during FIBA play in between. We see a lot of NBA players who have spent time abroad. I think they come back better.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, Kevin. I think wherever you can hone your craft and do it in a competitive environment where winning and losing is at stake on a nightly basis, it has so many opportunities for learning and growth. So, okay, I can't turn it over 5 times in a competitive environment, regardless of what league I'm playing in, because that's to the detriment of my team. If I'm lazy on the defensive end, I'm going to get exposed by good offensive players. To me, Kev...
And you think about how the Warriors attracted Kevin Durant to the team and all these all-stars coexisting. It doesn't always work like that, does it?
No, and I give a lot of credit to Steph Curry, a 2-time league MVP, but he never lets his ego get the best of him. His good-natured calm and sense of serenity kind of set the tone and maybe balance a bit of what Draymond brings to the locker room.
And so it's going to end up in the record books as a blowout, a dominating performance for the Spurs.
It was a standout performance across the board.
I mean, it was like watching a cat play with a mouse. They were able to do more or less whatever they wanted.
And now, for the year, this is going to take him to 7 wins.
And they'll take the win tonight, setting the tone in the first matchup of this 4-game season series.
And you know, when you look at the huge impact he had, just a monster game for AI.
You can do a lot to change a game other than scoring, and it was his quick hands on the defensive end that put them in the driver's seat.
On its way from Curry for 2, and it's wide right. It's off the rim. Now, here's AI, guarded by Curry. And he overdid it there. Too much force, it looked like, on the foul, and he's called for the flagrant.
And, Kevin, that's a pretty dangerous play right there. I mean, I don't like to see a player put an opponent in harm's way, as much as you just saw him do there. Glad they pinned a flagrant on it.
Yeah, you're right, Greg. The officials were all over it. They weren't going to let him off the hook that time.
How about AI's path to the NBA? The guy goes undrafted, has to go to China, goes to the G League. That's a long and winding road.
And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. A resounding victory for them. And Greg in enemy territory, no less.
That's exactly right. But with the way they controlled the game and just completely took the crowd out of it, that's how to get it done on the road.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Kevin, thank you. DeMar, this team is playing well together. How are you encouraging?
All right, David, great job. Thanks so much. And that about wraps it up. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for tuning in. So long and good night, everyone.